yours, and because dude, you were shooting on 35.
Yeah.
But okay, one thing is I was reading your book, Don't Be Precious, and I'm thinking about some of the ways that I struggle with it and trying to believe it or not, I struggle with it, even though
I believe it.
It's debatable if
You don't get to Death Toilet 3 not being precious.
But see, that's a whole. Well, dude, I'm telling you, it was once I stopped being precious because you years ago, I remember told me, Evan, you need to make a video of you, crappy camera, you running around killing people with a knife, and I was like, oh no, I'm going to be Stanley Kubrick, and I'm going to Schusterman Levine, and now I'm going to. And the thing is, though, it was when I adapted that mindset that you talk about in the Don't Be Precious books, I started making more and creating more, and it, like, things really for me creatively started to happen, which in turn led to just more of my stuff getting out, more people contacting me about things. Oh, hey, you made this, you made this. But this is something that I couldn't shake in my mind as I was reading your book, and I wanted to ask you about it. And I want you to tell me if this is going to be obliterated and how soon you think, if you think it's going to be obliterated, how soon for me do you think it's going to take? So pretend that you've opened up a thing, you're meeting with people who've read your book, you're like a counselor. I use AI, we all use AI. However, I'm saying now, I use AI in things that I like write for other people that are like kind of like I work for companies that they deal with autism. There's a lot of behavioral lingo. I use it for that. But no, Darren, I'm never going to use it to write one of my books. I'm never going to use it to write one of my scripts. That's what I'm saying now. However,
let me tell you why you probably won't.
You think I won't? Yeah, I thought you were going to give me a 3-month timetable and it's all obliterated.
No.
Really? I'm amazed.
Yeah, well, because you're a writer. You're a writer and you have a voice. And so prose are a real thing for you, right? And it's cathartic. It's a part of your creative process.
If
right?
It's all I could do, like if I didn't have the thing that you have, which is you have to make things, I would just write, but then I'm just a guy sitting in a room writing.
Right. So that's why you will write and writers will keep writing. Remember, I'm not a writer. I'm a creator. So think about it. For me to express an idea, what do I have to do? I have to find a writer. I'd have to find cinematographers and then go down the list of the other 100 departments to make a movie, right? So everything I know about creating for me is ideas in my head. I have to get a bunch of tools and people to then execute on this idea in my head. So for me to write, I'm not a writer, I'm a communicator, just like I'm communicating with film. So for me, AI is a way I sit down and I start directing into ChatGPT what I'm trying to communicate. And then I listen back to it, then I revise it, I give it notes. Hey, on that part that I'm working on right here, let's do a little more historical background. I think it'd be really interesting. That gets mentioned here. Why don't we do a paragraph or two setting up who Mussolini was and why that ends up being really interesting in regards to Ethiopia, because I know they invaded Ethiopia. We don't think about Ethiopia as being a player. Just add a little something around. So I'm directing, right, the way I would direct someone on set, right? If we were, hey, Evan, at that part, maybe get a little. So for me, I'm a communicator of ideas. I'm not a writer. So there's no joy in me writing. But I take a lot of joy in having ideas, forming them. I have opinions, and then communicating them in some form of media. So for me, it's this new, it's an absolute joy. So I'm having this new joy being able to direct a book. And I've got 5 books now that I'm working on. And that 1 hour in the morning where I used to just sit in my head and think about things and probably annoy somebody 3 hours later of an idea or concept or politics or philosophy. I'm now starting to get them out in a written form because of what AI is allowing me to do. Because the other process would have been somehow maybe speaking into an audio text, getting it to a writer or editor, having them do that get back to me, and then I would have given them notes back, but then I would have to pay them to do that. So I'm not going to do that. It's not something I'm valuing enough to pay and have that process and maybe have an argument like, no, I think this was, I don't got time for that. So this is just a new way for me to be creating. I'm used to a paradigm that says I can only create if I have all these tools at my disposal. For me, writing books right now is that I'm just using AI to communicate things. I'm not Tom Wolfe. I'm not Hunter S. Thompson. I'm not Walter Kern. I don't write prose. But I got to tell you, my understanding of those writers when I get to a particular chapter and I say, just put a little Tom Wolfe in here. Put a little Bonfire of the Vanities in here. Put a little of the right stuff, the way he makes an observation on culture in regards to rock stars. You know what I mean? Make this. I want to really go after corporate culture here the way Hunter S. Thompson would go after. How would Hunter S. Thompson look at the corporate retreat and trust fall scenario? See, now I'm directing.
Right. Oh, because I've heard you tell people that. Like I literally, I've sat with you and heard you talk to people, and you would reference things exactly in that way.
I'm prompting.
Yep.
All art for me has been prompting, and then a piece of technology shows up and it says prompt. I mean, we're not there yet, but I've dabbled in enough to know that low angle tracking shot, taxi cab pulls into a suburban apartment. The camera continues to track low as the door opens, footsteps out. It's a beat up pair of Converses and only one shoe is on and the other foot is bloody. Cut to opening credits. That prompt, I'm playing every day with watching that come to life. And we're in minute 1 of that technology.